All right, so we are going to be going through the first part of Unit 10, which is coordinate geometry. And today we're going to talk about graphing lines and dilating lines on the coordinate plane. So the first part is going to be a little review. The second part will be the new stuff. So the review, the equation of a line is going to be y equals mx plus b. And this is called slope-intercept form because m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So you would need the slope and y-intercept to graph a line. That is the easiest way to do it using the count and the plot and count method. The next thing here is horizontal lines. For horizontal lines, the slope is going to be 0. And the equations are going to be y equals whatever number the y-intercept is. So it'll be a horizontal line going through whatever number y is equal to. Similarly, vertical lines, the slope is going to be undefined. And the equations are going to be x equals some number, wherever it crosses the x-axis at. So what I'd like you to do is pause the video, transform the first one there into slope-intercept form and graph it. And then on the other graph number 2, and we will go over those in just a second. All right, so we are going to look at the first one. When you change this to slope-intercept form, you'll end up with y equals 2x minus 3. That means that the slope is going to be 2, and the y-intercept is going to be negative 3. So we will put a point at negative 3. We'll go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, and we will draw a line going through those points, making sure we have our arrows on the end. And we should label our graph. So this is going to be 4x minus 2y equals 6. The second one is going to be a vertical line at 2. And we're going to put our arrows on that, and we are going to label that as x equals 2. And then we're going to have a horizontal line at negative 1. And again, we're going to put arrows on that and make sure we label it. The next part is also a little bit of review here. So parallel lines, if you recall, the slopes are going to be equal. Perpendicular lines, the slopes are negative reciprocals. So you're going to flip it and negate it. So pause the video here and identify if these lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. If you want to watch the first one and then pause it and try the second one, that is an option as well. So for the first problem here, when you transform this into slope-intercept form, you're going to end up with y equals 2x plus 3. So if you look at your slopes here, you have 2x and 2x. That means that these lines are going to be parallel. If you want to pause and take a second to reevaluate part B, go ahead and do that. When you change the second one here, you will have y equals 1/2 x plus 4. And again, if you look at your slopes, you have negative 2 and 1/2. Those are negative reciprocals. You flipped it over and switched the signs. That means these are going to be perpendicular lines. Moving on to some other stuff, finding equations of lines. So if you want to find an equation through a point on a calculator, you want to change your equations to y equals mx plus b, eliminate any choice with the wrong slope, and then plug each equation in the calculator and check the table to see which one contains the point that you're looking for. So we want to know what's the equation of a line that contains negative 3, negative 1, and is perpendicular to this line. Well, our slope for that line is going to be -3, meaning our perpendicular slope is going to be 1/3. So right away, we can eliminate choice A because the slope is incorrect, and choice D because the slope is incorrect. And now we want to know, okay, which one of these two will contain that point. So we can look at the table on the graph by plugging this into y equals, and we'll see that the correct choice is going to be so we can eliminate choice A, we can eliminate choice D, and when we look at our table, we will find that B is the correct solution for that because it will contain the point 3, -1. What I'd like you to do is pause the video, try 5 and 6 on your own, and then resume to figure out what the correct answers are. Okay, so when you change to slope-intercept form and figure out which line is parallel for number 5, the correct answer will be choice C. And again, when you change this to slope-intercept form and find out which is parallel, it will again be choice C. To use your calculator to find the solution for a system of equations, the first thing you want to do is plug both equations into the y equals function on the calculator using y1 and y2. Hit graph to see what they look like. And then this is this part that you're going to have to remember. Hit second trace and choose choice 5, which is the intersect, where those two lines intersect each other. In the lower left corner, it'll ask what the first line is, what the second line is, and you're just going to hit enter after each command. This is going to happen 3 times. So you will hit enter 3 times. So if you plug these first two into y1 and y2 and follow those directions, you should end up with the point -4, 2, which will appear at the bottom of the screen. So if you want to try that now, pause the video, give it a try. You can also do numbers 10 and 11, and I will bring up those answers in just a second. Okay, so hopefully you figured out -4, 2 here. Number 10, when you plug that in, it does say here, round to the nearest 10th. So you'll end up with -0.7 and -0.3. And the last one, you will end up with the 0.4 and 2.5. Okay. The new part here is dilations of lines. And this is super easy so we've talked about dilating shapes before. Now we're going to look at dilating lines. Since lines go on forever in both directions, you can't really change their size, but the location of the line can change. So if the center of dilation is on the line, it's super easy. The equation of the line just stays exactly the same. So if you're looking here, you have A and B are a certain distance from that center of dilation. Well, if this is dilated by a scale factor of 2, A is going to become 2 times as far away. B is going to become 2 times as far away. And you'll notice those are all still in a straight line, so the equation of the line will still be exactly the same. Now, if the center of dilation is not on the line, it's a little more complicated. So the slope of the line is going to stay the same. You're going to have parallel lines here from the pre-image and the image, but the y-intercept is going to change. So most of these questions are going to be centered at the origin. And you can make a note that if your dilation is centered at origin, or 0, 0, then you multiply the y-intercept by the scale factor. I'm going to run out of room. So what that's going to look like in a problem will be this. So the equation of a line H is this. M is the image after a dilation with a scale factor 4 with respect to the origin. And that is extremely important. So we are looking at this with respect to the origin. So the first thing we want to do is take our equation here and change it into mx plus b form, slope-intercept form. So we'll end up with y equals negative 2x plus 1. So when we're dilating lines, we know that if the point is not on the line, the center is not on the line, then the slopes are going to be the same. So our slope for this is going to be negative 2. So right away we can eliminate choice C and choice D because our slopes are not correct. Then we can say, okay, our y-intercept, our B, is 1. But because we're looking from the origin, we're going to be 4 times as far away. So we're going to multiply that by the scale factor, which is 4. So our new y-intercept is actually going to be 4. Well, we have a y-intercept of 1 and a y-intercept of 4, meaning that choice B is the correct one because A does not have the correct y-intercept. So I'd like you to pause the video, try number 2 here on your own, and we will go through it in just a second. So, looking at this, we have the line y equals 2x minus 4. We're dilating with respect to the origin, centered at the origin. So we know that the slopes are going to be the same. So our slope is going to be 2. That means we can eliminate choices C and D. And we want to take our y-intercept, which is negative 4, and we want to multiply that by 3/2. That will give us negative 6. So the correct choice here is B. What I would like you to do next is go ahead and try the practice problems. There are 5 of them on the next couple pages. Here are the answers for the first 4 so that you can check those as you're going. If you have questions, obviously ask. And we will look at number 5 just before class ends. Other than that, I hope you have a great day. Your homework will be the day 1 worksheet, and I will talk to you later.